poster. Did everyone
Like
get their
this?
poster?
Did everybody get a poster? Is anybody missing a poster?
Okay, well, so they've been passing them out. That's my brother-in-law, Jeremy, right there. If you didn't get a poster, make sure to get one on your way out, or you can go up and get it now.
Do we have any extras?
I was hoping we had a couple extra.
Maybe we have an extra one.
James Arnold Taylor!
I have a question for Ashley.
Only one question per person, sir, but okay.
I actually have a really funny story about this. So years ago, on my birthday, I did an interview with Rebel Force Radio. And yeah, shout out to Rebel Force Radio. And all of a sudden, they said we have a caller. And it was Ben from California. And what did Ben from California sound like, James?
Yes. Hello, is this Ashley Eckstein? I'm just wondering what kind of food you eat when you're recording Ahsoka Tano. Is there a specific meal that you like to have or partake in?
And she was so sweet. She's like, I don't want to offend this guy or anything. And she was so nice to him. Well, I don't know if we really eat. It's not important to eat.
Well, I was just wondering if there was a particular food that you found really enjoyable while you're doing your voiceover.
She was so nice. And then...
I know, but I did not know it was James. And for literally like the longest time.
They had to kind of like explain, and afterwards I went like, hello there. Oh, that's what it was. I said,
I do an impression of James Arnold Taylor's version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is a version of Ewan McGregor doing Alec Guinness doing Obi-Wan Kenobi.
and she said, yeah, I'd like to hear it. And I went, hello there. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I love a good prank. Were you guys pranking on set? Or when you guys were voicing and doing stuff?
Not necessarily pranky, but how it would always go is I was usually standing in between James and D. Bradley Baker. And it was me in the middle, and they were constantly just trying to crack me up. And, Dave would always, he would always tell me I was too cute. I was bringing too much cuteness into the studio, because he's like, Ahsoka doesn't laugh, she doesn't giggle, and I was always trying to get him to allow me to laugh more as Ahsoka. And he's like, no, you have to ball up your cuteness and throw it out of the studio. So James and Dee would always make it their mission to make me laugh.
Yeah,
and
that was
it was
awesome.
constant.
We did these dudes. They were kind of like Beavis and Butthead. That's so cool. She took the lightsaber and did stuff. That was awesome.
So that's what it was really like. It was the mission to make me laugh.
Yeah, oh, that's great. I mean, laughing is the best medicine, I think, in life.
You know what? We did a panel last night, Mental Health Monday Live. Was anyone? I know there was a couple people there. Yes. And we talked about how coming to Fan Expo, coming to conventions, connecting in person, laughing, literally laughing is good for your mental health. It's medicine for your mind. Smiling, making friends, connecting in person. Literally, by you making a choice to be here today, that was a choice for your mental health. And laughing is just such a huge part of it. So, and thank you for being a part of our panel last night too.
No, I loved being there and ending on such a mindful note last night. To be able to come here this morning, having all of those tools from last night and being able to apply them today in my everyday life. It was very enlightening. You guys only do this on Instagram Live?
Yes, so back in 2018, I went through an incident online where I was really viciously cyberbullied, and it was horrible. I mean, I'm not gonna beat around the bush at all. It was horrible. And it went on for about a week. And, you know, it was like literally like Taylor Swift, where it's like snake, 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 snake. And every horrible thing that could ever be said about a person was sent my way.
Isn't it crazy?
It was horrible, and it was all over a lie. And I had proof that it was a lie. I had proof that it wasn't true. But it didn't matter, because somebody had already made the accusation, and the internet was the jury, and they believed it. And it didn't matter what I said. It didn't matter if I tried to defend myself. And I was a mess. And it really, really messed with my mind. And I was actually on a book tour at the time, and I went to Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. And at the time, they were just starting the Kids Mental Health Foundation. And I was there to help the patients. And I didn't really understand anything about mental health at the time. I thought that mental health was something that affected some people, but it didn't affect me.
Like depression or
Yeah.
a specific bipolar.
Yes, there's a difference between mental illness and mental health. And, you know, let's take our physical health, for example. If someone has diabetes, you know, you're going to talk about it, and you're also going to be like, okay, well, that person has diabetes, I don't. But I thought that that's what mental health was. I didn't realize that mental health affects everyone. Our mental health is like, okay, good comparison to physical health. Everyone gets a cold, right? Who's had a cold in this room? Everyone gets a cold. Well, it's the same with our mental health. Our brains can get sick. Our brains can have a bad day. And guess what? When I was in the middle of being cyberbullied, my brain was having a really bad day. My brain got sick, and I needed help.
Which also can make your physical body, like, actually sick. Because if you have something going on in your brain, it does affect you all the way around.
Our physical health and our mental health are tied together. And I didn't understand any of that. And luckily, the Kids Mental Health Foundation, even though I was an adult, but they wrapped their arms around me and they said, we're going to help you. And they taught me so much about mental health, and that it affects all of us, that it's a part of our daily lives, that we have to focus on our mental health. And I, in many ways, felt like my voice was taken away because I couldn't defend myself. I couldn't stand up for myself. I felt helpless. And I thought, you know what, I'm an adult going through this, and I had a lot of support. I can't imagine what it's like to be a kid going through this, or much less an adult going through this without any support. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to get my voice back by being a voice for others. And so in 2018, I started posting every single Monday, and I call it Mental Health Monday, and I've done it every Monday ever since. And so thanks to Fan Expo, last night, for the first time, we took Mental Health Monday live to the stage, and we did it in person.
So cool.
Yeah, and so thank you all for coming.
Actually, so I as well have dealt with a lot of those things, and I do this thing called neurofeedback. I don't know if you've ever heard of neurofeedback, anybody, but it's the way that the folks at the neurofeedback place I went to said, you know, if you have a broken arm, we see it. We can see it in an x-ray, we can put a cast on it. If you have something, you know, broken up here, it's very hard to do that, but they have the ability now through these scans and such, and we would do that, and we looked at my brain and looked at all the places where those neurotransmitters just weren't doing what they should have anymore due to concussions and trauma that I had had in my early life and such. And so they're able to repair it. But it's all of this, and it's so amazing what you've been able to do, because I also love that now we can go to a Comic-Con, as you're talking about, but we can talk about it at a Comic-Con, because that is the most important thing.
It's like retraining your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're scared of something, you will continue to be scared of it if you never actually face your fear. And if you face your fear, you're now creating a new neuron connection in your brain to help you for the next time. And if you can continue building upon that, make it stronger, the force will grow inside of you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm going to do one more plug because I'm wearing them here. I love when you all give me friendship bracelets. I'm wearing the one you gave me. And I always felt bad. I'm like, I don't have any to give in return. But also, a lot of people always ask, hey, how can I support what you're doing? How can I support the Kids Mental Health Foundation? So the Kids Mental Health Foundation, they were so kind. They made me some bracelet sets. So I'm selling for $20 a bracelet set. It's 3 bracelets. One says Hype Friend, which is what I use a lot because friendship is so good for your mental health. One says Be Kind to others. It also stands for Ahsoka because Ahsoka's true power is her kindness. It's also a reminder to be kind to yourself. Because we are often our worst bully. So really, for me, it's also a reminder to be kind to me, to be kind to my own mind. And finally, there's one that says Mental Health Monday. So not only it stands for Mental Health Monday, but also it's a reminder of, the reason other than the fact that it rhymes, but I like saying Mental Health Monday because it gets your week off right. It's a reminder to be kind to your mind throughout the week and to focus on your mind throughout the week. So it's $20 and all proceeds go to the Kids Mental Health Foundation. So every single dollar goes to the Kids Mental Health Foundation. And thank you. And you can come up to my table and buy it, and you don't have to get an autograph. You also, if you just want the bracelets, come up, buy a bracelet pack. Be respectful of everyone else in line, but just come up to my sister or my brother-in-law and say, hey, I'm just here for some bracelets. You don't have to wait, the long line just for the bracelets.
I'm going to give one for Anakin. I think Anakin needs some mental health.
Well, speaking of Anakin, let's talk some Star Wars.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what would Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, if you were having a bad day, and I came to Ahsoka and asked her to help me, what's one piece of advice to help you get through that feeling of disappointment or failure? What's something that Obi-Wan would do to change his mind?
So you're saying, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. My only hope is what you're saying. Well, trust in the Force, and in time, a new hope will arise. Yes, I think that Obi-Wan, the coolest thing about Obi-Wan Kenobi is much like Ahsoka. Now, Ahsoka, I've always been very clear, and this is Ashley's panel, so we're going to talk about Ahsoka, but Ahsoka has always been my favorite character.
I know. You said that from the very beginning.
From the very beginning, and I get emotional thinking about it because she's all of us, right? Ahsoka is all of us. She's the one that got introduced to experience Star Wars in a way that all of us do, because these other characters are almost larger than life. And they were already kind of set up there. And then this wonderful character comes in and goes, hey, I'm a regular person. I'm trying. I just want to do the right thing. And Obi-Wan, and of course, we thought you were going to be my Padawan.
I know.
It didn't work out that way. I was a little sassy that day. I was a little cocky about it, too. And then Anakin's like, well, but I think that Obi-Wan is a true believer, right? That's the best thing about him. He holds on to the Force no matter what. He holds on to the Jedi Code no matter what. And so he would say, trust in the Force. And know that hope is with you and in you and getting you through. So yeah, I hope that goes in line with everything here.
Yeah, well, in Ahsoka, even though she famously says, I'm no Jedi, in many ways I think she's more of a Jedi than all of them. Because she really lives the Jedi way. It's one thing, to talk about it, but it's another thing to live it. And Ahsoka truly lives it. And that's why she walked away, because she felt that everything that she believed in, she questioned and wasn't true. But even though she walked away, it doesn't mean that she changed. And, Dave Filoni always would tell us, the studio, he would say, the Jedi way is to be selfless. And, so I want to share the posters real quick, which, shout out to Danny Haas. This is a Danny Haas original poster that he did just for me to give as a gift to you, as a thank you. So thank you for all of your support, and shout out to Danny. But there's such a special connection between the daughter and Ahsoka. We don't fully understand what it is yet, But the daughter from Mortis gave up her life for Ahsoka, so Ahsoka actually died. Here, I will grab it. So, I purposefully chose the quote, "To do what is selfless," and that in so many ways represents Ahsoka. As I already mentioned, Ahsoka, her true power is her kindness, but when it comes to helping others, that's actually my favorite Ahsoka quote. She says, "In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what. I guess it's just who I am." But it's truly who we all are. I think if you
It's truly who you are.
Yes, I would say that you embody that so much. You radiate kindness. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you, but it's because Ahsoka has changed my life. And I think we're all here because in many ways, she's touched all of our lives. And that is why I say Ahsoka lives in all of us. And, I think after, how many years have we been doing this? Since 2006.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
Yeah, almost 20 years. These characters have taken up a space in our heart and in our mind, and they guide us, they guide our thoughts, and they inspire us daily. And so Ahsoka, if she were to see someone in need, she would help them no matter what.
I love that.
Anakin, not so much.
I still feel like there's a glimmer of goodness inside his heart.
Maybe a touch, maybe a tickle.
We see that eventually.
I'm enjoying the Jawa sitting right here looking at the poster. Like you start talking about the Jawas, like, what do you mean? Awesome.
I'll get a couple questions in. Before I go to some pre-submitted fan questions, you were wearing an amazing hoodie, like a crew neck hoodie yesterday that said Star Wars on it. And I wanted to know if that was a Her Universe piece, because I absolutely love the clothing line that you have come out with. And not just Her Universe, but now Our Universe.
Yes.
Where do you get all this inspiration for your clothing line?
She gets it from me.
James. He's my fashion muse.
Do you remember though, years and years and years ago, back in like 2007 or something, at Comic-Con in San Diego, you had a show, and I was one of your models. I wore
Yes.
a Han Solo shirt.
Yes, you
A
were.
runway model.
You know,
It was a
Supermodel.
my Star Wars family has been supporting me from the beginning, but yes. So Her Universe is, for those that don't know, is the company that I started. It's a fandom fashion clothing line that started just for girls, because back in the day they said girls would not buy Star Wars clothes made for them, and I said that's not true, because yes, there's a lot of girls out there, and we like Star Wars, and we love clothes made for us. And so, back in 2010, I launched Star Wars, or I launched Her Universe. I did not launch Star Wars. I'm not taking credit for
The
that.
heart of Star Wars.
Yes, but I launched Her Universe, and it's grown so much, and now we have a sub-brand called Our Universe, because Star Wars is for everyone. It's not just for men and boys, it's not just for women and girls, it is for all of us. And so I'm so proud. Her Universe actually has a spot on the floor. If you find my autograph table and you're facing it, you look to, wait, no, facing, I get my left and rights mixed up. But anyways, you look to the side, and there is the Her Universe booth, and you can buy some of our recent designs. And I have an amazing team that we work together, so I can't take credit for all the designs. But what I was wearing yesterday, what I'm wearing today, I did get to design a collection for Disney. So right now in the Disney parks and on DisneyStore.com, you can get this very 90s looking, 80s, 90s Star Wars collection. So yeah, I think it's still available on DisneyStore.com if you're not going to a Disney park, or you can go to a Disney park and check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
You know what's weird though, Ashley? There are people that have grown up in a world that wouldn't know anything different than there being Star Wars clothes for everybody now because of what you did. And I know you're very humble. She's like, but it's true. Like, there's young people here that are like, well, of course there's Star Wars clothes for everybody. That wasn't the case.
But she's also branched out. She had a Bridgerton collection. She's had so many different fandoms that she's now included into this brand, which I think is amazing because if you look out here, you see the Sanderson sisters,
Yes.
you see Gomez and Morticia. It's such an eclectic group of people, and I think that that's what her universe has now become. It's for everyone.
Well, so that was my goal in the beginning. Now, for those that don't know the backstory, I was a full-time actress. I'm a huge proponent for education, so I'm going to preface this before I say this, but I graduated from high school, I briefly went to college, and then I left college, so I don't even have a college degree. I moved to LA for acting and did acting full-time. So I say this because I don't have any sort of degree in business. I don't know licensing. I don't know fashion design. I had no business starting a company.
And you were a young Padawan when you started, and then you became a Jedi.
Yes, but I saw a need, and I saw women and girls being bullied, and being bullied terribly for just being a Star Wars fan. I was one of those people, and we know, if you're here, if you're a fan, we know that Star Wars is for everyone. To me, Star Wars is a story of hope. Star Wars is a story of good overcoming evil, and you can't put a gender on that. And so, and thank you.
No labels.
And so, I wanted to create her universe, not just to have cute clothes, even though that was a bonus. I wanted to break the stigma that Star Wars was just for men and boys, because it wasn't. And I think we've done that today. And that's all I ever wanted. I just wanted a safe space where all of us could come together and celebrate what we love.
Love it. Now, these questions are obviously generated for Ahsoka, but Obi-Wan can answer them as well. I'm sure Obi-Wan has some words of wisdom he can apply. Chris from Dallas wants to know, when you first auditioned for Ahsoka, what were your first impressions of the character, and did you have any idea she would become such an icon?
Let me get this one.
You probably could answer this for me by this point. So here's the deal, and James, you can actually speak to this as well, because you have a really interesting story of how you became Obi-Wan.
Paid someone.
But as many of you might have heard already, Star Wars is very secretive. And when I auditioned, when we both auditioned for Star Wars: The Clone Wars, we knew it was a new animated show for Star Wars. That's all we knew. And so I actually went in to audition for Padme, because Ahsoka was so top secret, they didn't tell anyone about her. So nobody knew that Ahsoka existed. And so I went in for Padme. I could not do Padme's voice. I tried and tried and tried. I could not do it.
Come on, give us a little taste.
Oh.
Annie.
That's literally what my Padme sounded like. It was so bad. It was so bad. I almost left the audition. I didn't even audition. Because I've shared this with some of you. I auditioned for voiceover roles for about 4 years, which was about 400 auditions that I did not get. I was rejected so many times. So I was really down on myself. And I almost walked out of the audition, and my agent begged me not to leave. He said, whatever you do, do not leave, because you never know what can happen. And so I turned around and went back in and went in, auditioned for Padme. Sure enough, the first line out of my mouth, Dave Filoni stopped me, and he was like,
No. No, that's fine.
yeah. And he basically said, you're not right for Padme, but you might be right for this other character, and she's a 14-year-old girl. And that's all I knew. But originally he wanted Ahsoka to sound Icelandic, and
What does that sound like?
Do that.
James, why don't you do an Icelandic accent?
No offense to anybody that's like, I don't have no idea.
Actually, that sounds like...
Yeah, that was like...
That sounds like what, the chef from the show? But your first
I mean,
attempt...
no offense.
Your first attempt kind of sounded like Yoda doing Icelandic.
Force is strong.
frustrated in the audition, trying to do Icelandic, and I couldn't do it, Dave Filoni was watching me, and he just liked me as me. And so eventually when I got the part, I was so shocked because I'm like, my Icelandic was so bad. How did I book this? And they said, no, don't do your Icelandic. Just be yourself. And that's how I got Ahsoka, is literally just being myself, and he wanted me to use my own voice.
Honestly, that is how I think people make the best connections with others, is just being your genuine self, which is hard to accept for some people, is being open enough to be yourself. And I think all of you feel that way, and that's why you're here. You feel this is where you're home and you're accepted and you can be yourself at convention.
Yeah, so I want to go back to the word genuine. So I did ask Dave Filoni once, I said, why me? Why did you cast me as Ahsoka? Because I was genuinely confused. I'm like, all the top voice actresses auditioned for Ahsoka, so I was shocked. I'm like, how did I get this part? And he said, because you're genuine, and Ahsoka is genuine. Now, I share this because I had never thought about the word genuine. I mean, it's kind of a throwaway word if you think about it.
Genuinely, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it genuinely stopped me in my tracks. And it forced me to think about, well, what does genuine really mean? How am I genuine? And genuine is real.
That just sounds weird.
Before you say a word, any word.
You're freaking me out.
Yeah.
But it does cause you to think about it, doesn't it? And, genuine, I feel like we live in a world where we often put on so many filters, but Ahsoka has no filters. She's just herself, she's kind, she's truthful, she's honest, she is what she is who she is. And so Ahsoka really inspired me to just be genuinely myself and to show my heart and to not put on any filters. So I'm
But you
proud
missed
to
one
be
spot.
genuine.
I'm sorry, I mean, you missed one spot though. She did something there that when Dave was like saying, oh, do this, do that, whatever, and you raised your hand, cute little Ashley raised her hand, and you said what? You said, I'm sorry, but I'm doing.
Yes, well,
So you stood up for yourself, is my point.
I did.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing a good Icelandic accent. Clearly I was.
Genuinely.
I genuinely thought I was. And I wanted the part so bad. And he stopped me and he said, no, can you be a bit more Icelandic? And I did something that I would normally never do. I raised my hand and I spoke back to the director. And I said, I'm sorry, I am doing Icelandic. I don't know what you want.
Slips was very.
Yes, that's very Ahsoka.
That is truly what got me the part.
That's so Ahsoka.
But the theme is, all these stories you've told, they're all, but then you stood up and went, I'm sorry, I'm going to defend the defendless. I'm sorry, I'm going to say yes to this. I'm sorry, I'm going to make this here because it isn't there. And if you don't like it, well, I'm going to kind of do it anyways. But in a sweet way. And look what's happened. You've affected the world in a beautiful way, actually.
Very much so.
Oh, James, you're going to make me cry.
You're just gassing her up now. Which kind of leads me to this next question. Sandy from Dallas asks, Ahsoka's journey has inspired so many fans over the years. How has playing her impacted your own personal growth?
Oh my gosh. Well, I already said it, but Ahsoka has changed my life. You know, I was cast to be myself or bring myself to Ahsoka. So in the beginning, Ahsoka is me. I mean, she genuinely is. It's my voice, it's my heart, she's my humor. But over time, as we got to know Ahsoka, I was like, no, I want to be like Ahsoka. I want to, she took up space in my heart and in my mind, and I would make decisions Ahsoka do? How would she handle this situation? What would Ahsoka say? And so she's absolutely changed my life. She's guided my thoughts and decisions and choices. And my life is better because of Ahsoka.
And ours too.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I want to know, because James is the same way. James is, truly the good Jedi,
A nerd.
Well, a nerd, but also he's genuinely Obi-Wan. And everything that we love about the Jedi is who James is as well. How has Obi-Wan changed your life?
God bless you, my child, yes. Yeah, it's true. It really is one of those characters where you go, like, if I were to say, what do I want to be? I would be like Obi-Wan, I'm a Christian, and my faith is incredibly important to me, and Obi-Wan is a Jedi, and his faith is very important to him, and he, will hold that line no matter what, even if it means cutting the limbs off his friend and leaving him in the lava thing. But I don't think I've done that to Matt, but Matt Lanter, by the way, one of the hunkiest, loveliest human beings on the planet, who we just love dearly, is right here. No, he's not.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Between you and Matt, who would win in the game The Floor is Lava?
Ooh.
How do you play that?
You don't know The Floor is Lava?
You never played that as a child?
I'm sorry, Obi-Wan spends a lot of time in the temple. No, what is The Floor is Lava?
Well, you just can't
It's
touch
pretend.
the floor. It's
Oh.
pretend.
It's not real. There's
You
no
see,
real lava.
I generally have the high ground, so I don't know. I just leave people to the law.
You answered the question.
All right, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. So Matt Lanter, by the way, he's like, oh, I live in this great neighborhood, you should come move there. So I moved to the neighborhood. He didn't tell me, he lives up on the hill. So his house is up on this big hill, and mine's down here. And I go, you did that on purpose, right? He goes, I have the high ground. I'm like, Matt. But no, yes, thank you. Obi-Wan is one of those characters. So I've been actually doing him since 2003 for the micro series of the Clone Wars. You all know that? And it was an audition. They were still making the movies. Revenge of the Sith hadn't been made yet. Attack of the Clones had come out. And so they sent me some dialogue of Obi-Wan. And I listened, I have a bad feeling about this, Master. I have a bad feeling about this, Master. It's not about the mission. It's not about the mission. I just repeated what I heard. And I had done some of Ewan McGregor's doubling for other things before, like Moulin Rouge and stuff, but he was doing an American accent. And I thought, well, when he does an American accent, it's pretty much right here. And I thought, well, my voice is kind of right there. So what if I give myself a British accent? Oh my goodness, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but, and then he had those wonderful textures to it, right? So it's, come to your senses. What would Padme do if she was in your position? It was that. I thought, he's got this growl that we never heard Alec Guinness do. And so, and this was before, you were the chosen one. That wasn't out yet. And so we were making Battlefront 2, and then we were making Revenge of the Sith, the video game, the first Battlefront 2, the first. So we were making those games, and they brought me Dave Collins. You know Dave Collins? He's an amazing composer, musician, Star Wars director, and voice actor. And he brings in this briefcase with this laptop, and it's like chained to him, and it's these scenes of Ewan McGregor on a blue screen. And he goes, "You were the chosen one! It was said you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!" And I went, "Do that?" And I went, "Okay." And that's when they kind of went, "Yeah, you're the guy, we'll keep you for a while." And so it's been 23 years I've been Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm blessed beyond belief because I get to work with people like Ashley and Matt and all the wonderful talented people in the world.
And you guys have such great chemistry together and have built pretty much a family. Star Wars has made you a little chosen family. Can I do just a couple rapid fire before I let you guys go?
Let's do it.
You can answer these too because they are just general questions.
General questions.
Who would be on your Mount Rushmore?
Nobody's ever asked me that.
Well, we both would say Master Yoda. Yeah, that's right. Master Yoda.
Yeah.
Have to be.
Master Yoda for sure. I mean, I feel like it would have to be Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan.
What a great group.
I don't know. Yeah, Qui-Gon. I like Qui-Gon. Fat. Not Darth Maul.
What's the last song you listened to?
You know what? The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. That is, if y'all haven't listened to it at some point today. That is my hype-up song.
Really?
Yes. And so this morning, when I was a little tired, I needed to just hype up. I played it and just danced around in my hotel room by myself.
That's great.
Does anyone else do that? Or just, yes.
I walk around with headphones in my ears as if it's my theme music everywhere I go. What about you, James?
Well, I checked my phone because I don't know. So a friend of mine is a Christian music artist named Jason Gray, really talented, wonderful man, and a good friend of mine. And I was listening to his album, and he has a song called When I Say Yes. And it's very kind of gospel. He's got this gospel choir singing in the back, and it's like, when I say yes, yes. So I was kind of doing it, but I was on the plane. So it was, yes, yes. People are like, what is wrong with
People
that?
are looking at you weird. Like, why is that guy yelling back there? What's your favorite room in your home to escape to?
Ooh. Well, okay.
You've got a cool home.
Yes. So I am obsessed with Disney. I'm a big Disney fan. Yes, I'm from
We're there all the time.
Yes, so I grew up there. My dad was a cast member. So my whole house is pretty much decorated Disney. If you go to YouTube and just type in Ashley Eckstein Wonderland, you will see my house. It's a little over the top, but I love Alice in Wonderland, and so I have a couple of rooms that are decorated Alice in Wonderland, and one Cinderella, so it all makes me happy.
I have Alice right here.
No
And the
way.
caterpillar.
How did we
Every
not
year.
bond over
Yeah,
that
how did we
yet?
not? Who's your favorite out of Alice in Wonderland? Is it Alice herself?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, James?
Well, for Alice in Wonderland, I like the Mad Hatter because I was Johnny Depp's voice double. This is making me imagine the Mad Hatter, Alice, yes. But no, for me, it's my studio, my recording studio. Anybody watch my vlogs or any of my videos? My YouTube channel, subscribe, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shameless plug. And so my studio is kind of the ultimate space there for me to perform and do my stuff. And I love it. It's got all the memorabilia from all of our years of hosting Star Wars weekends together and the Star Wars celebration and stuff. And so,
Like your happy place.
Yeah. So I go in there and I vlog and I do my podcast and then I put it out to all of you to try to inspire you. So yeah.
Awesome. Last question. We talk about what you're great at. You guys are fantastic. But what do you suck at? What are you terrible at?
So many things. So many things. Technology's not my friend. I mean, it's just not. Give me a brand new remote control, and I will mess it up. I will push every wrong button. I will get to input 4 and not know how to get back.
I picture David doing that to you one day, just putting a new remote in the room and then leaving and watching.
Afar, just to see what happens.
It's the biggest prank. So yeah, technology and me is not my friend.
James?
Gosh, it's so hard. I'm so terrible at everything. You thought I was going to say I'm wonderful at everything. See? Come on. No, I'm terrible at sports. My brother growing up was all-star football player. He's 6'3", and I'm 5'4". I'm hi, I do voices. And my sister was 5'10" and beautiful, and they were both really good at all that stuff. And I was the nerd that did just voices and stuff. So yeah, I didn't do it. You want me to do any other quick voices? So on Johnny Test, which is totally awesome.
Amazing.
I'm hiccup sometimes for How to Train Your Dragon, and sometimes I'm fish legs, and the other fish legs is right next to Ashley Eckstein, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and you should go see him today. That's really cool. And let's see, Chris will walk in if you need Chris walking to come in with some cowbell for Ashley.
Now you're just showing us what you're great at.
There's no way to say it, Doc. You need to tell me Michael J. Fox is here. Right, party. That's right. Christopher Lloyd is here as well.
My dear friend Tom Wilson, who is Biff,
And you have to go see Tom. And we just saw him But so there you go. I had to give you some voices because that's.
So, James showing off his gift, I think, is truly the best way to end this. But also piggybacking on your last question, and if I can leave everyone with this, I genuinely believe, everyone was born with their own unique gift. I mean, what James can do with voices is, it's his gift. And I feel like we spend so much time trying to be like everyone else. You know, you see what someone else is doing and you're like, well, I want to be more like that person. Instead of really focusing and saying, what's my gift? What was I born with? What can I do that's better than anyone else? Because I promise you this, each person in this room, you have a gift that you can do better than everyone else. So thank you. And I hope that we can all, and I don't say you can all, we can all, because I have to remind myself all the time, because we live in a world of social media. We live in a world where we can constantly see what everyone else is doing at all times and how everyone else is being awesome. And so, you know, sometimes it can feel really depressing and say, well, man, they're really awesome and I don't feel awesome today. Well, next time you feel that way,
What would Ahsoka do?
yes!
Ask yourself.
But ask yourself, what am I awesome at? Because I promise you, you are awesome at something, and you're way more awesome at that one thing than I could ever be.
And ask a friend what they think you're awesome at, because sometimes we don't see it in ourselves, but your friends are like you just said about me, which is very nice.
No, you guys are awesome, and like we appreciate you being here and just spending your morning with us.
Thank you. Well,
And you guys can always visit them at the table. They'll be at their tables today.
Yeah, so I'm over at the Rippaverse. Y'all know the Rippaverse? In fact, I got to go to their panel next, but they're at booth 90 down in the other area, and Ashley's where all the famous people are. So go see Ashley, and then maybe come over and see the Rippaverse and buy some comics and come see me.
And don't forget to get your mental health bracelet over at Ashley's booth.
Just
if
come
you
on
want
up
to stop by.
and tell my sister or brother-in-law that you want some bracelets, or I'll be there signing autographs and doing photo ops the rest of the day. So starting around noon, I'll be there the rest of the day. So looking forward to seeing
Give it
you all.